Did you guys get the video meme I sent you and kind of get where I was going?
I got the meme. I didn't get it, but for a lot of Nathan, for you, I guess that's on brand.
The point was like when he opened the vault, that's what I was thinking. I hope you're hungry for nothing. Welcome to this episode of the Prestige-ish Media Podcast. I'm your host, Craig Lake, and we are at the season finale. And with me are my two favorite Kaisers, the peachy Tom Chan and Dan McNair. Tom, one last time, how you doing this season?
Hello, old chums. I am Peachy.
Good to hear. Dan, how's it going this evening?
It's going well. I'm more of an apricot-y. We'll leave it there.
And I am what's the other one? Nectarine, plum. Plum, you could be plum, I think. Plum good, plum out of luck. Initial thoughts and rating, Dan. We will do season at the end, but we are just talking about this episode right now.
Okay. Thanks for prefacing it that way, because I've got a lot of thoughts on the season. But as far as the episode goes, I gave it an 8.4. It's consistent where with the lead up has been. Wasn't really that much stronger for a final episode, but there's so many different storylines. I think they hit them all. So that's where I'm going to put it.
Tom, what about you?
I would say an 8. Pretty much, yeah. Dan said they wrapped up a lot of storylines there and definitely left the hanger for the next season. So makes it more interesting and a lot of fan service in this episode too. So that was pretty neat.
Yeah, and I think to that point, I think because there were so many things they had to tie up, it took a little bit of the momentum from the better parts of the episode. When we started the episode, the first half, I was like trending to a 9. And upon full episode and totality review, I got it about an 8, I think. And I should take it down a point 1 for the Dane post-credit scene and
I
take
was
this
wondering
to
if
the
anybody even stuck around for it, but I see you did.
Taintus the Destroyer. We're all generally pretty close there. We started out with Macaulay Culkin waging his victory spoils over the Kaiser Civil War. Tom, I'm going to ask you first. Do you have any idea why they were all just skeletons versus dead? Why were they all just skeletons, I guess? Or were they getting to like the old skeletons from
Yeah,
before the war? Is
that
that what
was
was
the previous Kaiser with that was like had the secret note
okay?
saying who's going to be the next Kaiser.
But I felt like there were more bodies, but it was like from like they were
Probably
fighting
from
over
the
all the dead
war.
bodies,
Yeah,
probably. Is that how you saw it, Dan?
I only saw the one skeleton, but as Hool left, he kind of tossed that bomb in the stew and I think blew a lot of the other ones
yeah. You saw
freshly
in the
dead.
beginning a lot of explosions.
Yeah, but I would think those would be more triage wounds versus Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom corpses. But maybe I'm just going off the one Kaiser in my note takes. I didn't notice it. Macaulay's character is Legate, or I don't know exactly the pronunciation, but it's not like they even know how to pronounce Caesar, so I'm not gonna bust my own balls over it. But
Call him Kevin.
His
oh,
English name is Kevin McAllister.
yeah, I would say I'd bang his mom, but she just died. Hiyo.
That's never stopped you before.
It
Oh,
doesn't stop the Legion, I guess.
what's the difference between jelly and jam? You can't jelly your way into Kevin's mom. Anyway, you can thank Rumpelstiltskin, the film, for that. And that director also recently died. A little more movie history trivia for you. Yeah, I guess the note said something like, what was it? It ends with me, basically. So they've been
Yeah,
fighting
I
over.
Legion ends with me.
Yeah, so the whole point was they were fighting over this note for nothing, and now Macaulay's covered all that up, and they're gonna go take over New Vegas, which is like just as anywhere else, but I guess it's something to do. Any thoughts there, Dan?
I thought they should have a pizza party, go for some pizza to Little Kaisers.
Ah, good call. Tom, your thoughts?
Kaiser's Palace. That was a nice little nod there. But yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. When he was eating the note, it kind of reminded me of the Sunny episode, eating the
Oh,
contract.
I thought he tucked it in. I didn't see him eat the note.
Oh
That's
yeah,
fucking
he ate the note.
hilarious.
Yeah.
He like crams, he wads it in his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some things that are lost in me in note watches, unfortunately, but that's
Yeah.
pretty funny. They're gonna reclaim Vegas. We end up at the Lucky 38. We do get the aforementioned "Hello, old chum" from Robert House, like Ghost in the Machine. What's the other one? Is it like the Lawnmower Man or something? Lawnmower Man, Robert House.
Max
So
Headroom.
I never saw it, but I think it's like Ghost in the Machine type stuff.
I saw Lawnmower Man, but don't remember any Robert Houses or Ghosts and Machines.
Wasn't it the he's in a virtual reality thing or something? And I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about the electric chair one. They all look alike to me. So let's actually talk about this episode. There's some conversation with him and the ghoul about winning might be overrated. He says it's good to be alive again. They ask about what happens if he shoots the cold fusion. Robert House says that would be fresh snow science wise, but it might blow up multiple planets or something. He eventually has to put on the Pip-Boy. So then I guess the point is he can take Robert House anyway. And I did think they built into the story that Robert House built in the back end to everybody else's. So that's how he could help navigate things. So that part of it all checked out for me. What did you make, Tom, of this Robert House exchange?
Yeah, he pretty much talked in the beginning. He mentioned about like why he was in this forum because of all the attempts to kill him, which the way he described it was as if you were the courier in the game trying to kill him. So I thought that was pretty neat. But I figured that, yeah, he needed the Pip Boy to direct Coop where to go to find his family. And I'm sure Coop should know that when you're shooting pure energy, that's not good.
Yeah, Coop strikes me as a real scientist. Dan, your thoughts?
It was interesting to see them working together, but this is kind of the end of the line for House in this season. And I don't know. I thought he was going to be a much bigger player. It seemed like he was just to move the story along. I was expecting him to be alive and show up here at the end or something like that. So maybe my expectations were faulty, but there were all sorts of ways I thought they could have gone with this story. And, to basically just get Ghoul a Pip-Boy and steer him back towards Lucy, it seemed like maybe a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think what I appreciated it was just the fact that it could have been very plot conveniency, but they really did set the backstory for why Robert House would have all the back ends to all these systems and could get him in there. So I at least appreciated that part of it. Cooper called him Bob at one point, which was funny, and he does say everyone works for me eventually.
Isn't that what you say?
It's partially true. So, yeah, the death clause, we get the battle with Thaddeus in New Vegas. We get a weapons activated, more hot dog call out. So, that was a pretty decent callback. They had left it long enough. There was dog meat in the shop. Maximus is doing pretty well early, and then eventually it goes awry. I think we can just ride this all the way out. At one point, Thaddeus is a sniper on his roof, and he's using his Jessica Z toe to aim the gun. And then the guy who doesn't want to be taxed by lizards, he didn't want to be involved. We get this betting scene with all of his slave ghoul labor caps in play at one point. But then the surprising turn at the end is the actual NCRs show up. So I guess we thought they were all gone, and that lady just kept claiming they were lost, and they really weren't lost, and or they really were lost and they came back. Or how did you think that all came about, Dan? That rundown.
So my first observation was only in Vegas would they start setting odds, during a shootout in Main Street with high casualties. I like Thaddeus's line, like, I used to make money or something like that when he's got the pant leg full of
Yeah,
cash.
that was a pretty good one.
So that was a good nod to
I think
him.
he said I used to make money for a living or something like that.
Yes, yeah, that's even better. And a good nod to his story. I did recognize your lizard bartender, so it does seem like there's only 10 different characters in this town. And as far as like where the NCR really came from, I thought maybe they came over from California. I don't know about the being lost of it all. My speculation's no better than anybody else's.
I know Robert House talked about some planetary things, and usually that many men usually come from Uranus, so that's where I thought they could have came from.
Oh, we can check off Uranus joke on the board.
Your thoughts, Tom?
That was, yeah, I think maybe when Lucy ran into the two NCR people, maybe they didn't have a way to communicate to the HQ or wherever they came from. So maybe that one lady found a way to get in communication with them, and that's how they showed up. But the whole scene was pretty neat. The one NCR Ranger with the sniper rifle, that anti-material rifle, that was pretty much straight from the opener of the game. So I pretty much marked out for that. But I like the whole scene. Fan service wise, that's all it was.
Yeah, it was a little surprising for me just because I was expecting the lizard bartender, and all of a sudden I was like, did he change in a phone booth like Superman, or what happened here? And
Yeah.
then you get the rest of the NCR people, and we get a little callback. I know it wasn't probably your favorite part, Dan, but the callback to Maximus's childhood and his dad like telling him to be a good kid or whatever. I don't think it was as effective in this episode. But I think because Maximus has been such a weird character, like in the last episode, I mean, he's killed everyone and taken their suits, basically. And so I think they needed to find something to ground him to make him more heroic. And ultimately, they land on him fighting these death claws with a roulette wheel and a stick, I guess, is how he was going to end this thing. Curious what you guys make of that defense. And I thought the Deathclaw CGI was pretty good this season, and I do have it definitely higher than the giant roach CGI. Any thoughts on that, Dan?
I did appreciate, yeah, the death claws, the way that they were portrayed. I thought that good Amazon budgeting on that. Don't know about a roulette wheel as a shield. And just to speak to Maximus overall, we got fewer doses of him. I think as the cast has exploded, we get less Maximus time. And I think that works well for him. He wasn't as annoying this season to me as the large chunks of him we got in season one.
Yeah, I think it was a heavier dose or a lighter dose that reasonable, maybe a little heavy early, but back half of the season definitely was better. Tom, your thoughts?
Yeah, Dan said that in spurts for Maximus is good. I think probably next season we're probably going to get a lot more of him though. But I thought the whole scene of him remembering back to the Shady Sands part was kind of like parallel to him being put into a refrigerator and him getting out with the suit, making the suit like the fridge. So I thought that was pretty neat callback to that. But I thought it was a good scene overall.
So if we can cover the norm of it all, I guess he's gonna be drugged to death by Ronnie, but then they stumble into the elevator and let all the roaches out. Where are the Baja men when you need them?
Let the roaches out.
And they did some damage. I thought it was very convenient that Claudia is the only other person to survive, but it is what it is. I don't mind Claudia, but what did you think of Norm and the roach scene, Tom?
Yeah, Norm had +10 luck in that scene. I mean, all he'd have to do was hide under a desk and they all ignore him. But I thought it was pretty, that Ronnie guy, I was like, thank God that guy's dead.
Yeah, he was pretty much a dick. Do you think it's because Norm kind of looks roachy and has various underworld
See, I
features?
was going to take a spin on that, that roaches are notoriously afraid of rats.
There you
And
go.
Norm
Like
is
I
rat faced
guess.
and scared them away. It's scientific.
I was
The
just
two,
taking all the under counter vermin kind of work together in some sort of team. Yeah, so I don't think there's much else to go from there, right? It's just Norman, Claudia move on, survive in advance. Where's Ma June wants to know. He's got his hand stuff ready for next season. I thought they didn't really service dog meat well in the end. We know he's alive. I guess he's going to be with Thaddeus, but I'd have liked to have seen him positioned a little bit better at the end. Congresswoman Welsh meets her end asking for death. She doesn't support the right to life, Dan. Euthanasia, she's all about it. Typical Green Party
You
candidate
want to kill all
here.
the euthanasia.
Lucy has to basically kill her. It was pretty gruesome, I guess. What did you make of it, Dan?
It was interesting. I think I might even had a little jump scare there. I was expecting her to pop out of the table or something like that. But it was a pretty pathetic, please kill me type thing, enough to the point that I wanted her to die.
I mean, your both your bangs died. Tom, she was good at head, I guess. Tom, your thoughts?
Whoa,
Hey,
that was all she
yeah.
was.
I was like,
Uh,
I was getting annoyed at Lucy. I was like, just kill her. Like, why you gotta be crying? Why does everyone want to kill me? Because, I mean, look at the state of the her head. I guess it's like,
I mean, I think
but
it's fair though for somebody that never wanted to kill anyone and now she's killed everyone.
and I
Maybe if she,
mean, even before she was saying, I guess you're sort of alive. But so
yeah, I actually thought it was pretty funny when she was like, "Oh, we'll patch you up. There's no telling
yeah,
with the miracles of science."
miracles of
Like,
science.
I thought that was cute, that part of it.
But that's
But yeah,
interesting that they're using a congresswoman as like the basis of everybody's attitude in Hank's world.
yeah, and I was figuring that out as we were getting there because nothing else really made sense. And it was like connected to all these machines. But I also didn't know why, because after she killed it, shouldn't it have shut down everybody? But then that one guy was still helping Hank kidnap his daughter or
And
chip
then
up his daughter.
Even Hank himself later on, turned into Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, so who's running those chips?
I
And
thought maybe the cold fusion was powering some of it now, because Ghoul did that, but I
yeah,
don't know.
who knows? Maybe the Baha Med can help us with that too.
Their house is still around. If you saw the flash at the end,
Did they flash him at the end?
yeah, when the Maximus and Lucy were hanging out at the end in the rubble of the in front of the computer, you
Yeah.
see no signal, no signal. Then you see a flash of Mr. House, and then back to no
Oh,
signal.
oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, I figured we hadn't seen the last of him, so that's good. On the Hank end, we get the sinister plan is that one, he was going to chip his daughter, which I think made sense based not that I agree with it, but just it made sense that he would want to do that. That's what he was working his way towards. The miniaturization of the chips was a reveal of sorts, but I don't know that it matters how big they are. I mean, if everybody's got chips, then what does it matter if you notice them? That kind of seemed like putting a hat on a hat to me, but
Yeah, and that was hinted at earlier through all those experimentations as you see it get smaller and smaller in their little display. So,
I gotta be honest, if you put a chip in the back of my head, I'm not sure I care if it's 4 by 4 inches or half by half. I mean, I still got a chip in the back of my head. I can't see it. I did think a few interesting quotes when he said that daddy's job is complicated. I thought that was funny. We hear that I guess he's saying that the upper world was the experiment, not the vaults. Like, I think we all know the vaults were still experiments, but I guess it's hinting at something larger. I'm in for a penny, in for a pound, but I'm not sure how much sense that makes. We see at the end that he had chipped a lot of other people before the fallout question mark, but he just learned how to chip people without blowing them up. What did you make of all of that, Tom? And as somebody who's known the vault to be for experiments, him trying to turn it on its head that way, I don't assume the games tried that trick yet.
Yeah, I say it kind of makes sense what he said that the wasteland up up there is the true experiment because he did say that he sent some of his R&D out to test already before Lucy got there, I think, or something like that. So he was saying like, we're just waiting for the results or something. So he wants to test it on everybody out there. That's what I'm guessing. But I like Hank, this Hank being sort of the evil, wanting to control everything this whole season. But I don't know what's going to happen further on with Hank because afterwards we don't see where he went, I guess.
And he had his own button, which is suspicious
Yeah,
of
yeah.
sort. Dan, what did you make of the Hank of it all?
To be honest with you guys, I was a little bit confused by it all because I have a hard time taking him at his word. So he made it sound like he's got an army out there, like he was just going to detonate some people or set them all on attack mode. And I don't really know what was happening, to be honest. I'm a little bit in the dark still.
I think some of the pieces to the puzzle are Stephanie obviously was one of his wives, question mark. Is she
It's
Lucy's mom, question mark? Go ahead.
That theory's been out there, but
And
Lucy
I
was born in the vault.
they were both in the vault.
Yeah, but so was Lucy's mom. You
I
think
bet
somebody
Lucy
would have noticed, like, oh,
I
Stephanie
believe
was pregnant and then Lucy popped out.
I believe that Lucy's mom may have raised her, but I mean, there's artificial insemination. I mean, there's chips in the back of people's heads. I think they're still going to go there. I don't think they were predicting the fans to get there as quick as they did, which is the only reason they would have held it back. But I think there's got to be more to the Stephanie Dog and Pony show, I think, than just her being the evil stepmom. To that point, though, with Stephanie at the end, she's activating whatever he set up, she's activating for phase two. Did you have any inkling of what phase two really is, Tom?
it was an Enclave Pip-Boy that she was activating to get in touch back to the Enclave.
So that's like the wider group at large.
Yeah,
And we would
yeah,
assume that president that got the cold fusion might be involved in that enclave, question mark.
Be something
probably.
with, could it be something with the whole FEV and all these chip things now start evolving as part of that virus?
We're definitely going to get FEV, I think, next season. We're going to get the upgraded army that they tease with Taintus at the end. Hopefully, Manscaped sponsors Dane by next season. What's your thoughts on that, Dan?
I don't know. It could go so many different directions as far as like where we're going. It feels like there's a lot more loose storylines and they're all going in different directions. I was kind of hoping that a lot of this would come together and tie up in this episode, but it didn't have that bookend feel.
Yeah, and once again, I think as long as we're getting another season next year, they gave us a lot of answers. Yeah, we'd love more, but it's a reason to keep watching. I was surprised. It seemed Congresswoman Welsh really was just a tool in the end. I mean, as much as they tried to blame Coop for what he did, it was really her boner large. If you're doing a blame pie, I'm giving her every bit as much or maybe slightly more than Cooper in the blame pie for setting up that exchange. Any thoughts there on your Congresswoman Welsh as we put a button on her, Dan?
No, I'm ready to put her to bed.
Yeah, you are.
Which one?
So I don't know that they came right out and said it, but isn't basically this last president like a member of the enclave? So he traffics the cold fusion to them. Is that like connecting those dots?
I mean, I think whatever happened, that him ending up with it was the boner that was a problem. I was surprised we didn't get any like Moldaver wrapped up because there was the whole dog and pony at the payphone, and we got the Robert House call. I was expecting maybe Moldaver. I'm sure we'll get more next season, but she definitely just fell off the face of the map. Anything from you on any of that, Tom?
Yeah, I think Congresswoman was just a tool in the whole scheme of things, and the president definitely is the part of the enclave because who? What did they say when they were arresting Coop? They're the like the un-American police or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah,
tell like,
charged with un-American activities or something.
Yeah,
but it's like he gave it to the president, so it's like I don't know what that I was like I didn't read a lot into it. I just took the premise, but it was kind of weird. And is that when he eventually is doing that at the birthday parties, is it because he's disgraced because he was arrested? But
yeah, that's
it still feels like timeline wise, the bomb should be a lot closer than far for him to get out of jail and start taking birthday parties.
yeah. I mean, that's what I got as far as him doing the birthday parties is that he's been a disgrace. I don't know how long did they say he would. Did they ever say how long he was in jail for?
No, I don't think we really know that.
Yeah,
And I don't think we really knew exactly. I think maybe in the first episode there was hints he was just disgraced and that's why he was
Yeah.
slumming it with the
right.
kids, but
Yeah,
I don't think we knew much more than that. Anything else on Stephanie? We get the whole death to management thing. I didn't really think there was anything super valuable there other than the activation. And obviously, we now know she was married to Hank. Because the way I take it is his vault wife was his fake wife. Her vault, whatever, was her fake husband, but they were really the real couple and they staggered their entrance, if you will.
they
Is that,
washed over each other in
I mean,
ice.
at minimum, that new baby's got to be Hank's. Any thoughts there, Dan?
It's interesting theory. Like, I'm assuming, like, as they're unfrozen and swapped in from the imaginary Vault 31, that there's like decades in between. But I guess it could have just been a couple years.
Maybe he dropped a load in her and then froze her. You never know. Tom, anything from you there?
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, like the whole Hank de aging process, he was, I want to say, what, at least 20 years difference between the flashback and now.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, probably, and then you got maybe what, 50 years from between the bomb and this current timeline,
I
but
think we're at like 200 years
200,
total.
yeah, yeah, 200. Jeez. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe they had some way, maybe got Bud to in it because remember how they were saying trying to get Bud to hire her. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah. I mean, she was definitely in the program. I mean, that
right.
part's for sure. I think Hank's done a pretty good job of being a character that's unlikable, but also still seems like a father. And I think that Ella Purnell, Jackie slash Lucy. I thought her emotion to her dad at her end and how that all went, I thought she did a good job. Any comments on that kind of emotional end to Hank? If I guess your mileage may vary if you think we're just getting Hank back again after that. But Dan, your thoughts?
No, I thought for a show where I'm not really locked into the acting 100%, that this was as moving a moment that they delivered as there has been.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if it was my Ella Purnell colored glasses, but I thought it was a good performance for what it is. To your point, like there haven't been a lot of other than I mean, I think Goggins across the board has been good as well, but in some of the comedy beats have been funny, but it's not like there's been a ton of acting chops exhibited. I know you said you were tired of her crying, Tom, but was that last scene a little bit better than the other scene?
Yeah, definitely no whining from her or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, she did say earlier, what in the last episode, that you were a good father, just everything else you sucked about. So, you could see her, losing her dad when he didn't recognize her at all. So I thought that was pretty good scene right there.
Yeah, and I think not really a fun topic, but I mean, I think people that have had family members or different things with a dementia or something like that probably could resonate with some people in a different way too. Tough stuff there for old Ella Purnell. Meet me in Colorado, Dan. I believe that I thought that the vaults were empty for his wife, and it in fact was. He never checked the daughter vault. Might want to check that out before he moved on his merry way. But I
Oh,
guess
I thought they showed them both.
okay, maybe they did. I guess the only thing I'm confused with, I get that she left a note to meet her in Colorado, but it's been 200 years. Why is he convinced any more convinced she's alive with that note than he was before? Question mark.
Well, why would she think he's alive?
Exactly. I mean, would she have left 200 years ago? Did she just leave now? I just thought that was especially as pessimistic he's been, that was a giant optimistic leap on his part. But I've been for the ride. Any other thoughts from you there, Dan?
Not necessarily on that. I thought it was interesting, like the Colorado direction. And to backtrack that a little bit, I did find some humor in the irony about him shooting Hank in the ass and then turning it over to Lucy as far as like how she wanted to handle them after their dialogue earlier in the season where he was like, "Oh, you just always shoot people in the legs and the ass or whatever."
Okay, yeah, and I didn't tie that part of it together, but I did tie up. She's been talking about how she was going to deliver justice the whole season, and the fact that he obviously turned her over to Hank. It was a good redeeming moment for him to give her back control of the situation. Tom, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that the whole scene was good. I think the with the Coop with it, didn't they were talking about going to Colorado when him and his wife were walking by the payphones, right?
I mean, I think last season, I feel, or earlier in the season, it was a Bakerfield conversation. And then I feel like this episode, they dropped the Colorado lore on us, but maybe it was placed otherwhere, but that's kind of where I took it.
The only other question I have is like, how did the daughter get into the vault? Because when the bombs dropped, the daughter was like with him, right?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some loops to close there. Do we think that he's going to shoot all the doctors before they perform surgery on his daughter and that Abby's going to come back in season 4 and kill him with a golf club? Or any thoughts there on Colorado?
I think
The
you're
last to
mixing your
fall out.
metaphors.
All end of world roads lead to Colorado. I want to skip over this part, but yeah, Maximus and Lucy meet up. They hold hands.
I got it.
Yada. The relevant part of that is her kind of trying to take ownership of saying that she could have prevented this war. It's all her fault. And like the Kaisers are oncoming and this bigger battle, I guess, is setting up, right? And then we
Well,
get,
he started that war. Maximus started the Brotherhood War.
yeah, no,
Coop
they've
started an Enclave War.
Stephanie just sent off a bunch of. We've got Dane in the triage area of the post, whatever the hell's going on back at. Were they at Area 51, actually? Maybe. But he talks about the remnants he requested, which was the plans for a Liberty Prime Alpha suit. I was going to turn it over to you, Tom. What is the Liberty Prime Alpha?
It's a giant robot.
Okay, is it from the Liberty game or the 1776 or
Mainly in Fallout 3. It wasn't at all in New Vegas. And then it had a different version of Liberty Prime, maybe a different version of Liberty Prime in Fallout 4, but that's a whole nother story.
Dan, were you excited to get back to the Brotherhood?
No, of all the post-credit scenes, I think that this was like there were a lot of other things I would have probably enjoyed seeing in this place. But being that I'm not familiar with the game, I guess maybe this to somebody that's like a diehard fan of the game would be like, "Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait." But comparing it to some other post-credit scenes we've seen, this is probably more bottom of the barrel for me.
Yeah, I mean, probably a little bit ahead of Shawarma though. But I will say, seeing Dane, I felt about as good as Cooper did seeing the empty vault of his wife. Probably same levels of disappointment there. Let's wrap up the season and then we can just give any hopes, thoughts on a next season. Dan, do you have a season rating and thoughts on this season?
So I'd give this season an 8, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the first season overall. I enjoyed the first season, I think highest among the three of us. But where that season felt a nice narrow channel where everybody coexisted and their existences overlapped, it felt like in this season, we're getting fractured storylines that are starting to tangent out in the opposite direction of the main story. And here, where I was hoping for some coming together and like some book ending, it like ghouls heading off towards Colorado. Other characters are going in other ways. We're unleashing wars and viruses and all sorts of other things. And it's just a little too chaotic for me to follow all these separate things that are going around. Normally, it would be fine for me if one storyline was ending while another one's starting, or they're all at various points in their existence. But it seems like everything's running off in its own direction at this point. And the first season felt like a chapter. It started with the end and ended with the beginning, and even each individual episode had a fairly consistent theme and it was tight. And here it just feels, I'm 75% through this episode and I'm like, oh yeah, so we haven't really even seen what's going on with Stephanie. or we haven't even gotten back to this other storyline. And it made it feel, I don't know, just a little bit too uncertain for me getting to this point in the overall story.
But you still give the episode an 8.4 and a season an 8. So do you want to button that up any other way than that?
Well, I love the universe. I think there are some really strong characters, and in the season where there might have been characters I wasn't really into in season one, I think that they have improved to a certain extent, but a lot of times the servicing of the flashbacks worked a lot better in season one. I enjoyed those here in season two, but they didn't seem as cohesive.
I think they just leaned into them a lot more. It did a lot more lifting this season, and maybe that was a bit too much. Tom, you got a rating and final thoughts on this season we just watched?
I think season overall would be a 7.5 for me. Uh,
Okay.
Probably some episodes were a little bit slower than others. Probably had to do with a lot more exposition. I would say that this whole season, I didn't finish the first season, but like what Dan was saying, the first season was felt more contained, but they had to, at least in this season, open up the idea that there's a whole Fallout world out there rather than just one space. So that's probably why they have to have all these different storylines going on. And definitely with the third season is pretty much a go. Maybe that's what they relied on with season 2 and 3 kind of combining each other.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement that they know they're getting to three and that their plot line for these seasons was probably a 2 and 3 layout. You know what I mean? Even if the scripts weren't written, the layout was probably written. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I thought overall that this whole season was great. Just a lot of fan service that they did. The set designs looked awesome of New Vegas when I played the game. Makes me want to play the game again. I haven't played it in a while. But overall, I like the season. It's pretty cool that I finished it too. So I
How
like
about
that.
that? Yeah, thanks for
You don't
podcasting
finish a
us
lot these
for the
days,
season.
Tom?
Not at your guys' age.
How much?
Yeah, I've got the season as an 8. I liked the beginning of season 1 better, and I liked the back three-fourths of this season better than the back half of the other. I come a little bit in between, probably both you guys, Hayo, no Bono. But yeah, I think
But
overall
you
they did a
finished
good.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say early on I was worried about finishing, but the steady dose of Ella Purnell in that yellow dress got me there.
The
And
steady pace.
yeah, I like the season overall, and I'm looking forward to the next season. I want to bring up something now that I did bring up in season 1 that I still think would be valuable. Obviously, they're trying to get more storyline, and like you said, Dan, they're like expanding so much. I think if they would have stuck with the Lucy Ghoul storyline like Hank, I think that instead of spending so much time with Norm or the Enclave, I think they could have done anthology episodes because there's so many vaults. There's like 100 vaults, right? They could have given you a piece of all of this universe. I get set money, but we're dealing with Amazon money here. Or there was really an opportunity to at least do, and some shows have done it well. Westworld is a show that where they had both the Native American episode and the feudal Japan episode where they went totally off the beaten path for an episode. With the lore of this game, they really have the opportunity to do that. And some of that might be more effective than what we're getting with Norm or Ched and some of that kind of stuff. Maybe you see a vault where everybody's got tails, and we got a little bit of the different vaults last season at least. I think the Fallout universe would have landed itself to some anthology gateways as we segue into what we're looking forward to next season. For me, it's more Ella Purnell, and I would like to see more vaults, more different experimenty type things than just the same stuff. How about for you, Tom? What are you looking forward to next season?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if they do involve the Commonwealth, which maybe not from the looks of it, which is in Boston. But it'll be interesting to see what they do in the Rockies because I don't know. I mean, the Enclave is located there, and I think the Legion is also located there too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Dan, anything you want to see next season or any closing thoughts?
I got three things. I want to see Woody's dead body, or I want him to pop up somewhere. They
Okay.
You
just
want to
gave
see
us
Woody
his
pop up?
glasses.
Yeah, he wants to see Woody pop up. Okay, that's number one. What else you got?
I want to see all these different factions come together in Vegas in a Royal Rumble and just like a complete like five-way fight.
You want to see a five wave? Okay, next. What else do we got?
What else can I give you for innuendo here? Just since we've been doing this podcast, I did a 3x3 Craigo bingo card of all
Okay.
the usual references that he likes to make during an episode. So there's 9 squares.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you guys could get any. We already got Uranus. I will tell you that.
It was on
Uranus is the
there?
bottom right corner.
That's crazy. I'm impressed with myself. I mean, your mom's got to be on there, right?
That's center square.
Yeah, that's the freeze
That's
square.
Jim J. Bullock.
Simpson reference has got to be on there.
Top right, crossed it off.
Dog and Pony Show.
Okay, so you just got a tic-tac-toe. The dog and pony
Uh,
Hey,
show is bottom left.
I did not make the Always Sunny reference this episode.
But that's bottom middle.
Yeah, yeah. Tom checked that box this episode. Boobs? Boobs got to be on there somewhere.
Someone's boobs to the right.
What am I missing? How many do I
You're missing a Lord of the Rings reference.
Okay.
oh,
Top center. Your mileage may vary.
Okay.
Top left. And someone is gay. Because we've
I
always got a gay character, you got to point it out.
I
That's
like
the
it
bingo card.
whether you want to
We've got
play
a coverall, ladies and gentlemen.
whether you want to play bingo or drink at home. I like it. Anything else from you?
No, I just didn't have enough room for glory holes.
And we'll put hung mounties on the Tom Chan bingo. Tom, we appreciate you joining us for this season. We hope we can find another show to make you watch. How did you like your experience of doing a podcast for the first time?
it was fun. Great talking with you guys. Good keeping it consistent every week. So that's what I like. And yeah, it was great talking about Fallout with everybody.
Yeah, no, we appreciate having you. Hopefully we can get you back for next season, maybe Last of Us in 2 years, but hopefully you can watch another show you can jump on with us soon.
I know
Yeah.
Craig's really happy you could finish.
Yeah, Dan can only finish for the head of Congresswoman Welsh, and unfortunately she is no more.
I just have to think about baseball.
Matlock, Kathy Bates Matlock. All right, I guess that gets another one in the books. Oh, I just saw a Laker rumor about a center. Have there been any trades, Tom, in the last hour?
Nothing big.
All right. Do we want to jump into this dog and
The only
pony
thing I
show?
saw Zubac was out for personal reasons, so people are thinking he's getting traded.
Yeah, they're not going to trade him to the Lakers though. But I just saw a Laker, like a Dallas center rumor. But I also said something. But I also saw something today that Dallas won't do with the Lakers after we fleece them. So
I thought you guys were getting Draymond. What happened to the
Fuck yeah.
Draymond rumors?
Yeah, so you missed my thing yesterday when like they were talking about the Warriors like positioning Draymond to try to get Giannis, and I'm like, in other news, I'm trading Bono for Sydney Sweeney as well. Like, who wants Draymond Green for anything?